Hello everyone, welcome back to another end of year video for 2023. Let 2024 be a great year for all of you. So before getting into it, the games on this list are not bad games. Like apart from one, all of it are at least okay games. I just wanted to let you know that this is not a list containing the worst games of 2023. These are some of the games that I was disappointed. So Golem, Kong, Crime Boss, Day Before, I don't even want to try it for myself. Also, I haven't played Forspoken, Immortals of AVM because the demos and trailers were not that impressive. The Ubisoft open world games also I skipped. Also, I haven't played Diablo 4, the reason it's a Blizzard game. The only hope I have right now is that maybe Microsoft can bring them back. So the first one I'm going to talk about is not a single game, it's the practices in the industry. Some terrible practices for us gamers. It's baffling how many games had terrible optimization at launch. The in-game purchase or shops are still there for some of these fully priced games. The pay more to play before others and the high-priced Ultimate Edition. All of these are disappointing. There are games released each year that proves all of this is not needed for success. Just make a game you love, understanding the audience. People are going to love it.
And of course, the ripped-off arm is in there too. Why couldn't it just be lying in a corner somewhere? Universe's quantum asshole. Does this stuff happen to everyone, or just me? A lock. Didn't see that coming.
This game is an example of why I usually hate puzzles in games. You solve a puzzle in Atomic Heart and Atomic Heart says, do that 4 more times. Waste more time before progressing. The padding in this game is on a ridiculous level. Almost every door in this game has a puzzle load. The characters talk a lot, mostly they're all annoying, and you can't even skip it. And every time you need an item to progress, in this game for some obvious reason, you need to find multiple number of that items. The combat is okay, but with the lack of enemy variety and the animation log, it just makes it a slow and boring experience. The fake open world had nothing interesting to do. We fight the same enemies, we solve the same puzzles as we did before. The bosses are the only part I enjoyed, where the combat is good enough, and it is the only occasion all of the problems I had with the game was not present. It's an average game at best. So at the beginning of the video I said there was one actual bad game in this list, and that's Redfall. This game I had zero expectations, and even then I was really disappointed. This game came nothing closer to a next-gen justifiable range. No actual cutscenes, no way, this is an artistic choice. The art design is the blandest I have ever seen. It's lifeless, everything in this world is. It came out 30 FPS for consoles, but also for the PC version the optimization was that terrible. It was hard to get above 30 FPS. The story sucks, the enemy AI was a joke, the bosses are shit, and the way they tried to tell the story was the worst way possible. You just stand and listen to characters talking to each other for 10 minutes. All I wonder is how did they release it without knowing it's this bad?
Extraordinary. Another wand, another beginning of a bright and magical future.
I know this could be a hot take, but Hogwarts Legacy was really disappointing. I guess if you're a Harry Potter fan, you will like it regardless. I've only seen the first movie, so my knowledge on this world is limited. But I will still ask, even for the biggest fans, you love the game, but is this enough? Don't you want more from this game and this world?
What more could I have done? Oh, Badolf! Badolf! My dear, dear brother! Marvellous! I could always use more of these. Thank you for passing through.
This clip actually sums it up. Nothing matters in the game. With all the options we are given in choices and for our spells, nothing actually matters, which makes many of it feel useless. The best part of the game is Hogwarts itself. It was fun to explore, solve every puzzle, learn spells. The room of requirement was my favorite part of the game. So the first few hours of the game was great. But once you start doing the story quest and explore the open world, that's when it starts to fall apart. This open world is definitely worse than the Ubisoft ones. At least the Ubisoft ones are filled with some shit regardless of the quality, but here most of it is just empty or pointless. Almost every quest ends up being a fetch quest. Is this what the fans want? The characters are boring, the main story is nothing special, the choices don't matter, the NPCs doesn't react to anything. Like, what's the point of these forbidden dark spells if it doesn't have any consequence? The combat is something I actually did like. It's actually cool, like they somehow nailed the magic combat. But again, it loses its shine when you see that the enemy variety is really low. Even the bosses are either a troll or a giant armored knight. I will say this, for a studio's first time making an open world big scale game, this is actually a good attempt, a really good attempt. The foundation is definitely there, but for a sequel, a good amount of work that needs to be done on this foundation. Then maybe Hogwarts 2 can be a great game. This one is not.
I am going to do my best to get past this and continue our journey together. No, I will not go first. Have you lost your mind? Is there even a mind to lose?
This was the most disappointing game for me. I already did a review on it, so I'm not gonna focus on its details. It's supposed to be a space RPG where you can immerse yourself, but what Starfield has mostly going for it is breaking our immersion. Having loading screens for even using an elevator, the facial animations are some of the weakest I have seen in a big AAA game. You can even land on a planet, fly away from a planet without a loading cinematic. You also can fully explore the planets without boundary restrictions. But they said they went with a more realistic approach to the world, and that's why most of these planets are empty, which also doesn't help the game in any way. I don't see a point in exploring every planet. And the main story quest is one of the most boring things I have played this year. The faction quest and side quest are way better compared to that. And the list goes on, but I think I already said all the main ones I want to say. I still think if the game was just the Solar system with more handcrafted content, then I think this game could have been way better and way more engaged. Because what we got is a tedious, outdated, restricted, immersion breaking, and lack of content feeling game. That's Starfield. So it was obviously gonna be a disappointment. Also, playing with mods, that's a thing you can do, but playing with mods doesn't make Starfield a better game. Just your personal experience in this game better. I'm gonna end it on that. And I also have to mention, like, if you like this content, maybe give this video a like, subscribe. I mean, it's free.